Kings!
Hello and welcome to day one of Gauntlet Week for Split 2 of the 2019 OPL. I am Nick Boy Richardson, and I am back, and I am joined by Bryce. I don't need a jacket, Paul, and Jake. I was in a good mood 5 minutes ago. Tiberi. How are you, gentlemen?
I was in a good mood 5 minutes ago.
He really was.
I was like, I came in, I was feeling it. I'm not going to lie.
You had that smile on the whole afternoon.
Nothing could keep me down today.
No.
I had to get up too early. That was fine. Plane delayed by an hour. That was fine. Plane really, really bumpy. That was fine. Kind of like the Lethal Weapon, to be honest.
Yep.
And then plane delayed on the tarmac for another half an hour. Also fine.
Still fine.
Got in this office, grinning my head off like an idiot. Just like the
cheesiest smile.
Like, it was just, I was breathing easy.
You're looking nice.
I was looking nice. Like, everything was going good. Then I had to speak to you four clowns.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, there is nothing to stuff up a day quite like having to spend an hour and a half with you miserable bastards. Because it has really been just a journey through emotions.
I feel like what Jake is telling you is that we've just been delightful to him the entire afternoon. And at one point, made one tiny joke about the idea that potentially he thought that the Direwolves might win because of a slip of the tongue. And as a result, Diva Tiberi over here literally kicks over the coffee table and spills the OPL.
The contents of the table
legends.
all over Bailey's bed.
All over Bailey's bed is now filled with dry molding clay.
Molding clay. We got it one
Molding
last
clay,
time.
we got it for
Great
one
job.
last time. I hope that today puts you in a better mood, my friends. Not only just good luck for Order, good luck for Direwolves, but just our presence on camera. You are forced to be happy. You're in a great mood, though.
Yeah, I'm always in a great mood.
That's not
Sometimes
true.
too great a mood, to be honest. Remember that time we panned a little too much? But
panned.
other than that, no, I'm having a great day. I got up on time. I drove into the office on time. Didn't have to wait around for a park. Made it here actually early enough to get a little brisket burger with my bud Jake Tiberi.
Even my brisket went everywhere.
He did.
And
He
I was
sitting
still
outside
happy.
And it went.
Do you think that what actually happened is you had a terrible day, but it just dawned on you 5 minutes ago? Because it sounds like everything was a problem up until us, who helped fix the problem, and then it
we were
released
just
the
different.
vent. Yeah, we were just different.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think that's how it works.
That's probably not how it is. Did you survive last week without me?
Yeah, I did. I was actually telling you, I thought the show started really solidly. As long as Hingers was here, like, just the content kept rolling. As soon as Hingers left, 2 on a 2-person couch.
Yeah.
Real rough.
That's a toughie.
As the non-host.
Yeah.
But
I heard you had to get naked. No?
no.
Okay, good.
I did lose some items of clothing throughout the broadcast. I think I lost shoes and a jacket.
That's layman's terms for naked.
And that is layman's terms. But it was fun.
Cool.
Good fun.
Good.
I'll
Good.
do it again. OPL producers, if you're listening and you need a host.
Cut his
because you're not
microphone.
happy
It's
with me,
time to
I'll
look
do
at the
it again.
schedule for day one of Gauntlet. There's not much of it because it's just Direwolves versus Order today. Best of 5.
Yeah.
How are we feeling? What are we settling in for today, gentlemen?
Weird, I think. Because coming into this one, this is like the start of Gauntlet. You're looking at Order on your screens now. Like, everybody, their minds go back to what happened last split. And then you do have...
Just remind me.
I don't know. They won some games that looked all right. But, like, there's been a much bigger international conversation around, like, how the public, analyst, everybody that isn't inside scrims views the strengths of teams and players. And then on that like avenue, looking at this matchup, I'm feeling like Direwolves, they've been looking good. Order got their season back on track, but then you're looking at like pro player opinions, like Swiper, the big one before this before the show started, is tweeting like, yeah, feeling really good about Order in this one. I think it was also Fantix last week in the interview. They're tipping Order, so it's really weird coming into this one where Direwolves have been so hyped, Order barely scraped it in, but for a lot of people, that they might be the favorites.
And I think a lot of it comes down to this, is that when you look at Direwolves, they have Raze and a bunch of rookies because Corporal's starting the game.
Yep.
Corporal, first-year player, doesn't even have a year experience.
Yeah.
Katsuri, first-year player, doesn't have a year of experience. Biopanther, second-year player. Get Back, first-year player. Obviously, Raze got like 4 years of competitive experience. You've got at tops like maybe, 8 years of competitive experience on that lineup, and they probably have not played a best of 5. Order, on the other hand, I was just checking out Snowball's cheeky articles. 26 years of competitive experience in
you
League
go.
of Legends. That's a little bit more of experience than your opponent.
Dream's got 2, by the way.
The
rest of them so old.
Yeah, in best of 5s, there is so much
Yeah.
experience on Summoners Rift. And it used to be that you could prepare for the best of 5s during the regular seasons by playing best of 3s.
Yeah, which
That was killed. We now play best of ones. Best of one to best of five is such a shift.
Yeah.
It's all about momentum. It's all about the small tweaks, but sticking to the game plan. And it's all about the trust that you have in each other. And I just really feel like that is kind of, as a young team, you can kind of fake it. And then if it starts working, you can roll with it and really get going. I always think of your Legacy lineup or Avant Ascension lineup when that happened, where it just clicked on the day. And then you guys rolled through that best of five and got better and better as it went on. But it is very, very hard to be able to generate, that momentum from a standstill. And Direwolves are going to have to do it today somehow.
Absolutely. The fatigue could set in. They will be playing potentially more games than we play in a normal day of the OPL this split. So exciting times ahead. Speaking of exciting times, we want your Nick Bag suggestions. Please send in your questions. We want to hear from you guys. Send them in to asknickboy@gmail.com. We'll be answering some of those later on. Life, love, relationships, work. How to really kick a hissy fit and knock over a table in front of your colleagues. We can cover it all for you. But let's do it after game number 1 because it is Order versus Direwolves. It is game 1 and it is the Macca's Champ Select.
Thank you, gentlemen. And how are you doing today, Rusty?
Yeah, I'm good.
All business on top, and
people aren't meant to know about that. There's a
It's
reason
literally
there's a
on
desk
Twitter.
here. Look, I'm feeling comfy below the desk. You guys don't need to know what it looks like. Now, I'm excited to get into it. Best of fives are always really exciting to watch. Order in the Gauntlet is always something that's a talking point that we'll need to watch as the series goes. Maybe even the full run once again from them. But Direwolves are the ones that you really have to highlight here. Like Order, we don't know exactly who's going to show up for them. We see that momentum build from them. They are a momentum-based team. Direwolves are on a tear. Week 10 of the OPL, they look dominant. They came in red hot. They don't look like they were ready to lose a game. But now we're in best of fives. Now the rookies have to test their mettle, and they had a full week break between where that practice, you have to see what came from that, because you've had a full week to prepare for just one team, but you don't know what they're doing.
yeah, right. It felt like there was kind of a cascade, in like teams getting better, and when they were getting better, it felt like Bombers definitely had their time. And it was like, wow, Bombers now a top 3 team. Direwolves came in pretty fast behind them, like a couple weeks later, and then everyone was saying this is a top 4 team, maybe even a top 3 team now as well. So yeah, interesting to see how this team will match up against Order here today. And we're just straight into Champion Select. Gangplank and Kiana taken off the table with Silas and Gragger's ban. Now, important to note, we are on patch 9.16 with Pantheon enabled.
Absolutely. Now, while we are going through these bans pretty hot and fast here, Order have taken a different strategy to the last time we saw them in the Gauntlet, last split. Last split, they had a strategy. They're like, this is the one. We do these 3 bans for the whole Gauntlet run. Now they're targeting Raze already. And maybe that these bans continue, but very much so a target towards Raze right now, taking some of the junglers away from him. And if you ask me, that is a very good way to start off a Gauntlet run by targeting what I would say is the strongest jungler in the league and one of the best players on the Direwolves roster.
Yeah, for sure. Rounding out those bans with Akali towards those solo lanes, and Morgana will be the final ban here as well from the Direwolves into Order. So, interesting one. We actually saw Jake bring out the Morgana very recently in the last kind of 2 weeks. He's been picking that one up. Zaya will be the first pick from Direwolves.
Yeah, Zaya most likely with the Rakan to follow. My questions always come towards what to Order pick, and is it the Rakan they choose to take away, specifically because Jake is one of the cleanest Rakans that you will see in the OPL. So this is one of those few times where realistically, Zaya is always favored into the Rakan type 1v1. One goes forwards, one kites backwards. Innately, Zaya has that advantage. But it's about the AD carries that go with it now and the support for Direwolves. What do they now pick? Is it something like the Volley Bear, perhaps into the Rakan? Is it something like the Nautilus? So you have a Zaya Nautilus lane that should just handily control that 2v2, because if so, it's a good start for Direwolves.
Sure, yeah. Also, very early Syndra coming in from Order is interesting. We've seen Syndra before from them, but generally towards like last pick on red side specifically. So, yeah, interesting see what they have for our final pick. Probably going to be top lane counter pick. You would have to assume. Direwolves back over to them. Irelia and Sejuani picked up very early. Sejuani did have some nerfs on this patch, but still a high priority.
Yeah, Dream doesn't strike me as a mage bot lane player too much, so I would be very surprised to see that go into his hands. As you can see right now with the Kai'Sa locked in, it will not be. Swift is just going to be picking up the Syndra now. Patch 9.16, Syndra did receive some buffs. I believe it was just some E damage, but the significant one was at Q max, when your passive evolves the Q, 10% extra damage with every single Q spell that connects is a very large amount, a significant buff for the champion. We're on the opposing side here, Pulse. They've gone for the nerfed Sejuani because they wanted the combo of Sedge Irelia very early into the mix, looking to prioritize their 2v2 strength.
Yeah, Ban Hero Brom as well. Worth noting that Corporal will be playing in game 1 here alongside Katsuri, which is interesting given that Totoro has been alongside Katsuri for the last, I want to say 3 weeks now, consistently.
I would say interesting doesn't begin to describe it. I was expecting something would be here from Direwolves. You know, what is the purpose of putting in Corporal when it feels like Totoro has just been comprehensively better at the moment? Not to slight Corporal by any means, but if Totoro is better, why not play him?
Yeah.
So could be something to do with champions. Could be something that Corporal's been cooking up for a while. I know he's hungry. I know he worked very hard to get into this position and may well deserve the spot as Coach Curtis behind them makes the decisions. But we have to see exactly why.
Yeah, it can also be looking towards the future as well. You know, I've been in a lot of Gauntlet scenarios or like best of 5 scenarios where people just want to get a game for, you know, someone who is going to be with the team for a longer time.
That's fair, but at the same time, I would never want to lose game 1 to Order because then I think you've lost the series.
I
like
agree.
that is just the way that Order works. I think you want to come in game 1, smack them. And I don't think the Corporal, unless he has something planned, is the answer.
Yeah, definitely agree with you. Definitely just speculation, but we will get a chance to talk to the coaches later. Olaf and Aatrox bans here towards Order. There's a brief hover over Mordekaiser, but not going to be picked up. It will be Renekton here, most likely going to that solo lane. So the only thing we're missing is a jungler here from Order as their final pick.
Yeah. From the Direwolves side, I actually would say this is a little bit surprising. They've gone for the Nico. The likes of the Kennen were up and available. They've chosen to go towards the Nico route. A little bit harder to dive, perhaps. We wait for the last pick being the support role. No Rakan available as Jake has taken that one away. Nautilus and Braum both banned. Very astute from Order, getting rid of the Nautilus to have a better 2v2. But it's the Alistar.
Yeah, it's going to be Alistar specifically into that Rakan matchup. But yeah, definitely banned away rather some of those better choices, at least in my opinion, there in the form of the Nautilus. And Order, yeah, looking towards their final pick here. And I feel like if you're final picking something, specifically in the jungle, it's got to be different, right? Like it can't just be like
Engage
it's gonna
is
be
needed.
You know, like Rek'Sai jungle Jarvan. What's it going to be Jarvan final pick?
I don't think you have many choices, Pulse, when you need Engage in your composition, right? I think this is a choice from the side of Order that, like, you could use your 5th pick on red side to hard counter a champion or a lane.
Yep.
But I think at this point they said, you know, we've got the damage, we've got really good damage mix. We don't necessarily need to just hard counter the Sejuani with a Trundle or, you know, something that can control her. We need Engage. And there is only really one choice that's left when we've gone for the Gragas ban. Sejuani has also been picked by Raze. And so their options were kind of, I'd say, pigeonholed a little bit. They were forced into a choice. And Jarvan's not a bad choice by any means here.
Yeah.
But there is a world where this Jarvan, specifically just because he is filling his role, could win the game with a 0-7 scoreline. That type of game is possible from Spooks here because that's what the composition needs.
Yeah, final pick
To
as
go with
well.
the Rakan, of course.
Yeah, exactly. The 1-2 punch. And yeah, looking at Direwolves as well. Nico going into the top side. You're absolutely right. There were a lot of picks still available, but did choose to opt for that one in the end. And then Irelia and Sejuani pretty much picked on same phase, and Alistar really as a response to Rakan.
Yeah, we're pretty well set here. I would say Direwolves and Order both put in some pretty good preparation and planning. There's a couple of peculiar situations through this draft. I think it's a combination of picking for yourself, but also trying to deny from your opponents in certain ways. So very excited to see how this one pans out.
Yeah, and joining us on the desk for game 1, we have Choo-Choos. How are you doing today?
Hello. I'm good. Nervous, but excited. For best of 5.
Yeah, absolutely, right? And I've been hearing whispers, right? And it feels like even though you look at results and Direwolves coming in, you know, in that 4th slot, everyone seems to be talking about Order, right? Like, I feel like that was the same in week 10 as well. It's like everyone was tipping Order. Why do you think that is?
I mean, we've got a good record in Gauntlet, I suppose, of like we came in as a really big underdog and ended up sweeping the entire thing. I think the best of 5 format heavily favors our team just because we have the experience and the ability to like adapt. I think that gives us an advantage over our other players. Katsuri and Corporal, like this is their first Gauntlet run. So we've taken into account a lot of things, and we think that over the course of this series, we will further understand, like faster than they can, what we need to do in order to win.
Now let's keep talking about this particular best of 5 a little bit more holistically, because the winner of this goes against Bombers, and I feel like you guys are pretty confident against the Bombers, and you know may be able to make the run. But my question is, do you think the Direwolves may be the hardest team for you to face in the Gauntlet?
And Mammoth, I think. I think there's no doubt in my mind that if we verse Bombers, like, we'll be able to take it to them, just because, like, I think we statistically and playstyle just is really good versus them. I think Direwolves definitely are the hardest opponent for us. I think Mammoth, our game against Mammoth last week, even though it was like heavily one-sided, I think I know what to do versus Mammoth more than I know what to do versus Direwolves. Just because Direwolves seem to be quite a versatile team, I suppose. Everyone thinks that like they're just quite stable and they can play numerous play styles. So I'm expecting a good series.
Do you think it is that versatility though for Direwolves, or is it something more of like a, because you mentioned Bomber's stylistic matchup? You know, with Direwolves they are very jungle centric, or like he plays 2 lanes, but it's all about him. Do you think there's a difference in styles that just complements them in this matchup?
Yeah, I think the biggest advantage about Direwolves is like, oh, here we go.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Oh, nuts.
He's all good.
I think, yeah, Direwolves are one of those teams that can really like throw a curveball, and I suppose that is an advantage in a best of 5. But I think we've done so much prep, especially for this first game. We haven't really looked at Bombers or Mammoth yet. So we know what all of their players, like their roles are within the team, what Curtis is looking at, and hopefully we can use that that research to help us in the series.
Yeah, in that same vein, was this a very premeditated composition from you here on Order's side, right? Because like we saw like early Syndra, we didn't see like counter picks in solo lanes, like we had final pick jungle.
We knew every single one of their bans because I think everyone in scrims has also been just doing those same bans. We've always been the team that like threatens Morgana, threatens Zyra Khan.
Yeah.
GP and Kiana as well lately. We're like that team that always prioritizes those two. So everything has been premeditated, and I think we're comfortable. I think we know what's to come, and we know what we need to do in order to beat these guys.
Fantastic. One last quick question for you then, looking at specifically these comps now that they're done. How do you win this game?
So they drafted the old like run at you heavy team fight, Alistar, Sejuani, Aurelia. We think Syndra is very strong into that playstyle because we knew when we took away Silas Gragas that he was going to lean to the Sejuani. So we're heavily relying on them scuffing their engage and then just punishing them with a fat Syndra EQ.
Perfect. I've said it better myself.
Fat
Fantastic.
Syndra
Yeah. Thank you for
that
joining
one
us. Yeah.
sit. No
Best
worries.
of luck in this best of 5.
My favorite moments are when, you know, the casual vernacular kind of leaks into being in an interview. He's right though, right?
Yeah, no,
You know,
he's very
We're looking
correct.
for the fattest Syndra EQ of all time to be able to turn things around, as right now Get Back may get aggressive. And so what we've seen so far in the first 2.5 minutes, Pulse, take a little bit of stock of this, is mid lane was a very early Electrocute proc going the way of Swiffer. That's basically a potion advantage already. And against a Corrupting Potion user, especially with the Biscuits there as well, that's a good start to the lane, right? So level 1, things look promising for Swiffer in mid. We'll probably continue to just poke, just harass, and that whole lane is about, do the stuns connect from Aurelia? If yes, go win the trades back. Because right now, are they threatening to dive?
Well, he tried for the lockup there. Jake's going to take a tower shot, now out of range. Has the Ignite down, flash out from Corporal. Jake is still taking, forces out the heal here from Dream as well.
That was insanely risky from the side of Order. It felt like, you know, Rakan hits the knockup, we can go type of idea. But because Rakan doesn't hit that, it was dodged by Katsuri. He was actually almost about to die under that turret. You know, Corporal just a half second, maybe even a little bit late there on going for the play. I feel like there was a world where they killed Jake there. That was very close for comfort for Order for the 3-minute pressure on bot lane. And really, the CS difference isn't that significant. But Spooks probably wants to come back for this one if you can. That wave is cooked for Direwolves if they don't get any jungle pressure on this side of the map.
Yeah, now moving into the enemy jungle here, Jarvan looks like he's going to try the Krugs and maybe look for a repeat gank once the bottom lane has pushed out a little. We'll see if they can actually get that wave control though, because it is pushing slowly towards the Direwolves. Maybe Jarvan just backing away after this.
Spooks is a notorious repeat offender when it comes to ganks in lanes. There was a time last split, I don't know if anyone remembers this, where he played Nunu. And what he did on Nunu was gank bot lane 17 times. He does have that about him, as right now they're looking probably on Corporal.
We'll get the knock-up onto the Alistar, goes in for the EQ combo. Spooks following up onto this one, doesn't have the flash out that previous play, and that will be first blood to the jungle of Order.
And redemption here for the first gank of Order. Low HP bars don't matter if they're able to return gank, they get the kill. We mentioned the wave, big deal, as now they're threatening on Katsuri. Most importantly, I believe, is just to get the wave in, as they are actually looking Raze.
Yeah, forces the flash from Katsuri. In comes the jungle, though. Raze will get the flail down onto Jake. Doesn't have the flash or mana, but is able to back away. Double root comes down. Flag drag out from Spooks, and Jake is far enough away. Now we to disengage.
That's a really dangerous game the Direwolves were playing. Note that Katsuri used his flash at the very start of that just to dodge some spells. And they commit to the play, and they actually come out pretty well off for it. And that's with their support dead and walking to lane.
Yeah, kicking off this game, 1 kill over to the jungle here. It will be Pickaxe. Immediately picked up here by Dream as he walks back to lane. Similarly, we'll have Katsuri going back to base and picking up cool longsword. And yeah, pretty even across the rest of the board, though my eyes are definitely drawn to the top lane here. 2-wave advance to the Nico. Kind of to be expected into the Renekton matchup until we can get a couple levels underneath him. However, mid lane, Spooks is going to show himself, but Jake is behind both of them. Get Back is playing quite defensively, though. Here comes Raze. Throws at the Vanguard edge, still gets knocked up. Gets the knockback once again here from Raze. Flashes away. Flash out into Dragon Strike. Spooks will find himself his second kill of the game. A Caffeine Rain and another kill. 3-0 to start off this one.
And 3 kills all to the jungler of Order. Order 3-0 with a 1.5k gold lead 6 minutes in. They're just finding the number advantages. They're finding the kills. And they're netting themselves the gold in these plays where it feels like Direwolves are overcommitting. This one does get punished, however. And that's the first punish we've truly seen. Now, as we do look back towards top lane, it is important to note that this is one of the few times where you'll see a true 1v1 in top lane. We'll get the replay first. As you can see, it looks like Direwolves setting up for this play. They want the 2v2, and they just don't know that Jake is here. Very smart stuff from the support of Order. Dream also here, just in case Get Back manages to survive. Corporal, just a little bit late, unfortunately, to the play. It's the difference between timings and reset. It's the difference between tempo plays. And that was a tempo play from Order, where Direwolves were forced to reset in bot lane earlier.
Yeah, top lane starting to even out now that Renekton has a bit of tankier stats. Going for his first back, we'll be able to pick up the crystal plus null magic. This will help a lot in this matchup. But still, yeah, big advantage to start off this game over to Order. Kill into jungle, mid lane, and bottom lane.
A fantastic start for them at the moment. And no composition truly outscales the other, I would say, as well. Just one thing to look forwards to. You know that top lane is a Renekton. Renekton naturally doesn't stay strong forever. Jake is about to take a beating, but he should be okay. But Renekton's still going to be just a thick boy in the front of a fight, right? He's still going to be pretty tanky. He's pretty well equipped into someone like the Nico, depending on how you use your spells. You know, remember that Renekton's W now actually has a shield break. Pretty handy into a Nico ultimate if you're able to time that one correct, perhaps. There's an AP Nico after all as well.
Yeah, the shield break is definitely something I think everyone will have to get used to as a new mechanic.
It's one of those things that makes you wonder why not Cannon. Like, what does the Nico provide? And
the Cannon does not.
For me, it's the Glacial Augment is the major difference. If you're going to go the AD build, then Cannon probably is just the better choice. You can escape the Renekton far more easily, and it's less reliant on hitting a skill shot is how I would explain it. Nico has to hit the stun to keep the Renekton at bay. Cannon just presses E instead and runs away. Can't be caught, then gets attack speed. Yeah. The Renekton has to disengage.
Yeah, definitely more binary in the playstyle for sure. Raze and Corporal grouping up, moving up river, just clearing this one out will be the first blue going over to Swiffer here. Been watching this matchup as well. Like, I definitely don't get to see a lot of Irelia Syndra. Syndra's only now really coming back into the meta, but it was interesting because, like, even when hitting Duet and Get Back would try to go in for the Q, the Duet duration wasn't long enough where Swiffer would be able to consistently use the knockback during the Q animation. So it almost seems like, for me, a hard counter in the mid lane in terms of laning phase and 1v1 at least.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, it's always a skill matchup with an Irelia, right? Like, no matter what, there is a chance that regardless of who counters who, that Irelia can get kills. So much of it to me, though, like, especially looking at this draft, was about the 2v2. And right now it's a 3-0 Jarvan that they're staring down. So it's not a situation where you ever truly feel comfortable anymore as the Irelia if the Syndra's got a pocket Jarvan sitting behind them, or you don't know where their jungler is. And that invisibility is now very valuable for Order because his threat is just so high.
Yeah, this pick is definitely paying off here. Still opting towards Cinderhulk and the tanky build. Actually has that one completed already. Plus stopwatch. And top side, same thing will happen. Mid lane will get the blue buff, and Sejuani will look towards Crab. Jake has found himself in the mid lane, actually now escorting Swiffer towards the bottom lane.
Yeah,
here.
and speaking of stopwatch timings, like you mentioned, Pulse, they're about to activate at 10 minutes on the dot, and there was one available for the level 6 Rakan of Jake. So when you see Swiffer leave mid lane like he does, it may just be to get vision in bot side jungle, it may well be to dive bot lane. And with those stopwatches, engages can be free.
To try and dodge out this stun. Starts off with the power unleashed. Flag, drag, cataclysm, auto attack, and it's just almost too easy in this mid lane with the amount of damage between the two champions.
And that's really smart from Swiffer, the ability to just throw the ultimate and guarantee that the stun will connect, get back, no flash available for about 30 odd seconds. Well timed there on the gank as well, and now it's not just the Jarvan who has all of the kills. It is the mid-jungle duo as bot lane is fighting.
Yeah, Corporal goes for the engage here, but Jake gets easy access onto the backline here, onto Katsuri, finds to knock up the Charm, and the Ignite as Dream is still fighting off against Corporal. And in the end, it's actually a pretty similar trade, but an extra heal over to the side of Order.
Yeah, one of those trades where both supports eye off the enemy AD carry and say, you're mine. And they throw their Ignites down and they just try and take the other person out of the fight. And basically both achieved that, like you mentioned, a summoner spell advantage is gained, however. Lion Panther now going to spot Spooks doing the Herald. Presses W to check a bush, notes that someone isn't in that bush and still runs away.
Yeah, Tally coming down from the top lane here, and Swiffer also just getting back to lane as well. So not really something that Direwolves can contest because Sejuani is a bottom side actually looking towards potentially a dive. Has jumped over the wall here into Dream and Jake. Dream hops the wall, immediately finds get back. Nice dodge on the duet, but still gets stunned down into the Vanguard's edge. That will be a kill over to the Direwolves, and Jake soon to follow. Another kill to get back, and the first 2 kills of the game to the Direwolves.
Yeah, big confidence play there from the Direwolves, something that was very much needed for them, but remember the cost at the same time. Herald was already being done. It's already been summoned, and it's going to charge and get some top lane platey boys, so they're going to get a whole lot of money up there. May even break the turret as nobody's here to contest that at all. Biopanther teleported to bot lane. Big swinging gold, still going towards Order, but massive for momentum and confidence for Direwolves getting those 2 kills.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, starting off this game 0-4 was definitely not the ideal beginning, but yeah, this tower should die. I mean, we've got the minion wave here as well, alongside Shelly and another one coming in. So first tower of the game, it goes over to Order, and a lot of gold as well into the hands of the jungle and top lane. We can see how that one started. Raze did just hop the wall, and that was basically it. Yeah,
throws the ultimate, connects on a Jake. Isn't a max range ultimate, however, so no aftershock there from the Sejuani. Now the follow-up is here. And because that stun connects thanks to the Sejuani and Aurelia combo, Getback's able to bounce off the AD, forwards onto the support, find Jake as well, and follow him up with the kills. So big stuff there from the mid laner specifically of Direwolves. You know, in his first ever playoffs run here, you'd expect some perhaps nerves to be shown, but we're not really seeing that right now. Pretty calm and collected.
Yeah, for sure. You know, especially when bot lane was attacked first here from Order, you know. And kills going down to that bottom lane, but doing pretty well. 3 plates were also collected off the back of that play into bottom lane. Mid lane, looking towards Swiffer. Biopumper has come down. It's probably be seen out though. Vanguard's edge, or rather duet, onto Swiffer. We'll get some harass down. Raze is going to spot Spooks as well in this mid lane, so probably not going to happen, but we'll get control over this area in terms of control wards. And Raze now just seeing if anything else is in the jungle. Did see Jake earlier place down vision into the jungle. Actually just walked over control ward.
It happens to the best of us. I may just be aware that it's there and we'll go back for it later anyway. Now Spooks is going to slip his way through the river, perhaps look for a gank, but he's just going to be clearing wards himself. Cloud Dragon in 30 is not the most important objective in League of Legends, that much is for certain. But it is Order with pretty comprehensive control now of the entirety of that river. So it should just be theirs to take if they want to take it. But I have a feeling the way Order operates is they want that pick first. There's no point in opening yourself up to any needless risks of Direwolves being there over a Cloud Dragon. Go for the kill, get the pick, make sure the dragon's free, and move from there.
Triple collapse into this mid lane, gets the stun down, flag drag, knock up into Power Unleashed. That's an easy kill over to Swiffer. A Biopamper just has to watch.
Yeah, and Tally just walks on down, so he's able to go back to top lane, build the wave. Biopanther has to answer, and sooner or later Order will get themselves the free Cloud Dragon. It may just be a matter of time. They could even go for the blue buff first for Swiffer if they would like. We'll see how they play it out.
Oof. That's done very close to landing. Probably should have. But the cow, it's been trimming down these days. It's been cutting. So he will be able to just walk away from that one. It will be a second Cloud Dragon over to Order.
And 2's a lot. 1 Cloud Dragon, you're okay. You just move a little bit faster. 2 Cloud Dragons, you've actually
Moving
got
pretty
relevant in-combat movement speed now as well. That's a pretty big deal, actually. Especially trying to kite away from an Aurelia, perhaps engage as someone like a Renekton as well, who just wants to close distance. You know, last hit a minion with the Black Cleaver, sprint forwards. That extra move speed actually does wonders.
Yep, next round's going to be Ocean. Would prefer that one to be, you know, either earlier or just not there at all. But still, Order with this control over the early game. And yeah, first couple items being picked up as well. Top lanes hit the first item power spike in terms of Black Cleaver Fatality and the GLP here for Biopanther.
Yeah, he's
lane
also
picked up
going
Ludens.
Zonya second instead of going for the Twin Ghosts. So it's a clear sign that he wants to be team fighting sooner. You know, the GLP build, the Glacial Augment build works very well with all active items. And Zonya's is always the 3rd item in that build. So to me, it's a clear sign that they want to accelerate the game pace.
Yeah.
Get to the team fighting stage once they hit their big 1-item spike. So I think keep your eyes peeled on probably the Trinity Force for Get Back as the major thing that they're lacking right now. Once that's on, they want to fight.
Yeah, I did go for that Tiamat just for the laning phase early, so just delay it by just over 1,000 gold here. As Jason spot Corporal, Raze flashed away from, Spooks jumps the wall, gets stunned. Ultimate used as well.
Jarvan can dash out of anything. Morgana bindings, Jarvan could solve that problem. Sejuani ultimates, you better believe Jarvan could just flag and drag onto safety. One of those champions that's just so hard to lock down, as Dream is actually locked down.
Yeah, finds the pulverize, goes into stealth, gets the knock up there, dodged away from, good flash from Corporal. Will make it back to the tower. Jake here as well, just to clear out this mid lane. But both teams constantly looking for picks in the river.
Seems to be that the river is the Silk Road to victory in this first game, Pulse. You're absolutely correct. Corporal doesn't want to hit the E-stun before the headbutt, and unfortunately has to use his own summoner spell for it. Meanwhile, bot lane, they are hunting perhaps, but Raze does not have that ultimate available, so he doesn't have the long-range engage. It would be relying on Get Back probably throwing his ultimate and just building passive stacks for Raze. So just a lot of protection going on here, a lot of escorting solo laners, ensuring they're safe, and that makes sense, especially when one of them is a Syndra, is a control mage. It's Corporal.
Teleport coming down into the bottom lane, flag drag.
Oh, they're on.
And the flash coming in from Biopan for tons of damage onto the mid lane of Swift. He'll back away, Ignite ticking, good heal out from Dream. And with the Cataclysm, locks up 2, flash into Vanguard's edge and Get Back, gets the first, jumps the wall, has the Q combo, Blade Surge, double kill. Meanwhile, knock over the wall, Tally looking to get out of this fight, wants to hit the blast cone, sends everyone flying, but also dies. 4 kills over to the Direwolves.
Massive swing for Direwolves with 4 people dead. Get Back is a man possessed right now. He is playing out of his mind in this first game. And suddenly Direwolves, they get the gold lead. They get the opportunity to break the mid lane outer turret after a team fight victory. Those Cloud Dragons mean nothing when the Aurelia can just stick to you like glue.
Yeah, had the flash up in that fight as well, was able to basically just get out of that big Cataclysm that Jarvan put down, which was blocking up everybody else, and clean up the backline.
And the teleport positioning was great. The force of the flash from Corporal was great. Direwolves doing a lot of good things here, but the man to watch is Get Back for this stun. This follow-up here actually gets the ultimate out from Dream, predicts where he's going, is able to get back over the wall as well. Incredible stuff there from the mid laner of Direwolves, and remember during all of this time, Direwolves had engaged it so well that they were always in advantage in the rest of that 4v4.
Yeah, it was a really great teleport and teleport positioning there as well from Biopamp. That ward was essentially just perfectly placed for where they were corralling Order into. And that's completely swung the game. You know, Order had a strong advantage to start off, but now with Direwolves 2,000 gold ahead now, with a lot of that gold going to the carries. 3 kills into mid lane, 3 kills into Katsuri.
You know, there is a conversation to be had on momentum in every best of 5 series, but I think the first thing we'll have to look at is Raze needs to disengage if he can.
Yeah, there's always
He's actually
momentum
in a lot of
breakers
trouble.
as well. 4 people here from Order, and yeah, not a whole lot you can do, unfortunately, with no flash. Holds the ultimate and a pick over to Order.
And towards that momentum, there is, like you highlight, momentum breaking, but there's also, you know, something that can swing momentum back more heavily in your direction while stunting it from your opponents. And, you know, playing something like Corporal in your first game, in your mind, you're like, we've got the extra ace up our sleeve. You know, we've got the other support that we can bring in Totoro at any point if we wanted to, you know? We have that capability. Order's like, well, they're playing Corporal in the first game. Maybe this is easier. But if we lose this one, what does it mean if they have that ace up their sleeve, right? So there's two sides to every coin is the point that I'm making here. And it seems like Direwolves right now, even after a shaky start, have really found their footing and got those team fights together with Corporal playing.
Yeah, for sure. And we're much closer to even now than we were a couple minutes ago, absolutely, after that fight. Next dragon has spawned. In fact, it will be that Ocean, as we talked about earlier. Now cresting the 20-minute mark, just as I've been speaking. Baron has also spawned, but Order should be able to collect this dragon free of charge. Mid lane, Corporal's just farming on his own, waiting for Katsuri to get up here.
If you could call that farming.
Yeah,
every single minion.
I mean, it's a sad life for the Alistair. Very difficult to see it underneath tower. But yeah, Katsuri will be able to get the rest of his wave. Jake's going to see his lover. Back away here. I guess the rest of this wave. Corporal steps up. Doesn't manage to connect the Q. Will get stunned up here. Pops the Unbreakable will. That's enough for Order. Don't really want to hard commit onto this Alistair.
Yeah, but it does mean they could hard engage once the ultimate is gone, because that Alistair is just cannon fodder, but still Direwolves looking.
Yeah, Raze actually does it instead, and get back with a massive flank here onto Order. Takes down one. Corporal gets the second. Dream under attack. And just like that, 2 kills to the Direwolves.
And just how quickly they pull the trigger is so commendable here from Direwolves. They're looking at the Baron. Swiffer dead, Jake dead, only 3 alive. Spook's also at half HP, but he has Flash, he has Smite. They do this quickly, but can Order get there and actually check it?
Tally's trying to make his way into the jungle here with Spooks. Corporal's waiting in the river, but not showing their face just yet.
Yeah,
Order.
they see the health. Order knows that's not been swept, that ward in the back of the pit. It's the Alistar headbutt that Spooks has to respect here.
2000 HP, now starting to burst flag drag,
Get it.
and a steal comes in. Oh no, no, it was a
They
steal.
did.
Yeah, they got the kill and they got the Baron. Order get away with daylight robbery, and Tally will get the 1-for-1 trade.
Tally's kill comes up before the Baron steal the priority on scoreboard, but Dire Wolves just lose everything that they could possibly want inside that pit. They took a true 50-50, that felt like, with a Renekton and a Jarvan able to get into the pit. The Alistar headbutt not there to stop Spooks. Just a little bit too late as well. And he's able to get the smite and gets Corral to safety, compliments of Corporal's headbutt. And wow, this game just swings very quickly.
It's been swinging, yeah, like a pendulum this whole game. I definitely agree with you, though. If I could make one change to Spectator Client, you need priority. Because I screwed with the other day on that pentakill, because I was like, no, he got the tap. No, it was a pentakill. Yeah, no, that was very unhelpful, Client. But yeah, still come through, a 1-for-1 trade, and Order now with the Baron.
At least you know that this isn't scripted and our reactions are natural, because not even we know sometimes what's happening.
Yeah. I feel like the scripted memes have died down in recent years, but they always used to be a thing, and it's like, come on.
Well, I mean, when you have too many amazing 5-game series, you know, it starts to feel like it's just too good to be true. And that too good to be true feeling is why people would say
everything's
it's
pre-recorded.
Absolutely.
No, I can assure you this is live. Order pushing up to this mid lane, have Baron onto the AD carry and support here. Obviously not Tally.
Yeah, they need to break turrets with it. If they really want to swing the gold right now, it would have been like, if that Baron went to Direwolves, that felt like a final nail like type of situation. Like their lead would have been monumental. They would have been really poised to break inner turrets and blow open a gold lead is what you would have said. But even at this point, you know, Order get the Baron, they get a kill with it and it's a trade, sure. But the gold still favors Direwolves right now. And that's the thing, you know, like they need to break those turrets and generate a gold lead for themselves as
Thanks, Flash.
God, he made it.
Yeah, he was charging, hoping he could get it over in time. Mid
There's
lane.
a teleport coming in, it's get back flanking.
Just get the engage here. Corporal flag drag finds 2. And this is going to be a big flank in from the Nico ultimate. Lands onto 3. Get back, tries to get into that back line, but he is shut down by Tally. Spooks meanwhile is tagging on the front line, and he's actually making it out of here. Raze, he's low, but he's able to manage his health bar here. Looks at Jake, backs away. Dream in a 1 versus 2 shut down by Katsuri. It's a messy fight, but it is a 2-for-3.
These fights are so close, and that stops the Baron buff from Order. Biopanther with a teleport, gets the flash ultimate into the fray. Big play from him, and Corporal's the one starting this off as well. Jake doesn't get the maximum use out of his ultimate, but it doesn't matter. and Swiffer just gets one hit. But at the same time, this is where Order turn it around. Renekton gets the Son of Dream and Tally together, just one hit get back. Jake hits a sick knock-up, and you think for a second they might have the damage. But 100 HP on Raze, Katsuri still with his flash, and all of them combined about 500 HP is the difference between getting the ace there for Order or Dream dying.
That's where you really want, you know, a reset champion of any kind who just cleans up those kills so easily. But in the end, will be a slight Direwolves win. Order were able to return to that mid lane after that play and still take the mid lane tower. So we're basically at even gold. There is about 700 gold in it now into this game. But because that was such an early Baron, it's very rare you see a Baron and you're pushing like outer bot lane, outer mid lane, you know, like still all outer turrets up here. And top tower will go down courtesy of Panther, so that will be extra gold going into the pockets of the Direwolves.
But I'm really feeling this from Direwolves. The killer instinct that they have right now, the not recklessness, but confidence, the no hesitation on these teleports that they're constantly making now really are proving to be the difference for them. And it's not even sowing chaos, it's just forcing your opponent's hands through good plays of your own. Oh my god, he hits it.
Through. Managed to thread the needle onto Dream, and Panther in with another great flank, lands onto 2, and here comes Corporal and Get Back cleaning up this fight, and it's over. You can't even call it a fight, it's a massacre. 4 kills to the Direwolves.
That was just a clean ace for Direwolves. I didn't expect that Sejuani ultimate to connect. He flashes forwards, curves the bullet, and Direwolves, with 5 people not available, only Tally available top lane, there's no point in him teleporting to this tower at all. He just has to recall and try and hold the game as well. Inhib will go for certain, and that should be all Direwolves look at, but they may push.
I mean, this is at least Inhibitor. Another 10 seconds on all members here from Order. This will be a clean getaway, though. They don't even choose to attempt to go onto those Nexus turrets, and they will back away.
This is
you
nuts.
see that. I kind of wanted to see the lead up again, you know?
That play from Raze is insane. They've got the flanks available here as well. Panther constantly finding himself in those positions. And you hit a Sejuani ultimate like that, you deserve to win the team fight just through and through. That was sick from Raze.
For me, it was specifically like where he was originally positioned and the movement he made with the flash, right? Like we only really saw like the second part of the flash when he'd already flashed in the ultimate, but what was impressive, it was like a full front line in front of the back line, you know? Like there's no way that ultimate should hit, so crazy stuff in here from Raze.
And it locks them into a choke point as well, which is the most amazing thing. For Panther walks in, just throws his Hextech GLP 800, and it's like all of them are stuck with my ice hose now, just because of the positioning of that Sedge ultimate. Raze really proving his worth here as Panther has murdered Swiffer in the bottom lane. Goodbye, Swiffer.
Yeah, he's just straight up dead. And Panther has been getting such value from his ultimates this game. Actually, I was just looking at Panther's health bar. Like, he probably had double digits HP.
I hope we get a replay of that one, because it really feels like Swiffer had vision at the bot lane tri-bush. Bio would have been pushed past that one. We will get a replay very shortly on exactly what happened through that. Hopefully in that time nothing crazy happens here, because Baron is alive and Direwolves have just controlled the entire area in one swift move.
I'm going to guess it was a full combo from Swiffer but misses a Q, which is not enough damage to kill Panther. I'm going to say inconclusive. Mid lane push coming out from Direwolves. We're going to bring that one again for you. But we do have potential engage in the jungle here. Spooks is waiting over the wall. Raze does have his ultimate.
No psych outs.
Really just zoning him away and getting control of this top jungle. Baron is up now for the Direwolves.
And this is a moment where experience does mean a lot here for Order. You know, have the patience to be able to wait, know that they're not doing the Baron yet, even though they don't have any wards on it whatsoever. And now they start to move together. You know, coincidentally, the timing is on the reset, as we'll get to see what happens here. It is Swiffer hitting the Q full combo, but the Zonias, he has to flash. He just, wow.
Yeah, mistiming on the Q.
Yeah. Should have been just a true one hit.
Yeah, and it was really just the timing on the Zonias, and then the mistiming on the Q, and that was literally it. But how often does it happen when you have to drop on someone as a burst mage and you don't get the kill, and you get bursted in return?
Well, yeah, that was actually like a ridiculous amount of damage coming from Syndra. Note once again that we are on patch 9.16. Syndra's Q has been buffed by an extra 10% damage on that Q, so it's an absurd amount comes out. Yeah, when you think about how Syndra wants to operate as a champion, it's hit QR and just smash someone. So that's actually a whole lot more extra damage that comes into it as Spooks waddles on over.
just trying to check Russia's now with skill shots.
They do have really good tools to check, right? Between Kai'Sa W, Jarvan Flag, Syndra can also throw a stun in the bush as well. Rakan can try and Q.
Yep.
Some of them aren't safe. Like, as an example, if Jarvan uses his flag and Sejuani engages, he can only go forwards then and has to return in kind. And not ideal when in a deficit. What they don't know is the deficit's only 4,000 gold. Unfortunately, a lot of that is through the 80 carry difference.
Yeah, Order now know that Direwolves have actually started this, forcing on the teleport. Corporal looking for the flank, just getting knocked back onto Spooks, but they're going for this fight. Direwolves are turning Corporal, taking a lot of this with the passive. Goes in with the ultimate. Biofammer just blows up Swiffer in the team fight. Get back, finds his way into the back line, but he is shut down. Tally in the 1 versus 3 now. Gets him out healing from the Q, but it's a 2 for 2 in the end.
It's a 2 for 2 the Direwolves choose to force. They don't want to take another 50-50 on the Baron. There's no point, they say, if we can force the fights. And they look, but Order stand and deliver just as much in kind. We'll get to see this again as Jake, in a good position, tries to zone Corporal, but at the same time, Corporal flashes forward. So cross wires, unfortunately, and Biopanther hits a sick ultimate, but Spooks never dies, Tally never dies, and if they separate players of the Direwolves roster with the Jarvan ultimate next to a Kai'Sa, that person's just dead. And that's a big part of what happens there in favor of Order. And I would say that, you know, an even trade is in favor of Order.
Yeah, absolutely. They delay the Baron from happening. Teleport comes through from Biopanther, actually. But still, most of both teams are still at base running towards the Baron area. Also gives a lot of opportunity now for Order to reclaim their top jungle, as there is all the vision now completely cleared out from Direwolves, which was at full control about 2 minutes ago. So Order very easily able to push up to the Baron now, much easier for them to contest and choose their fights. So this game is very much in anyone's hands.
That's the rewards that they get, right? If you were Direwolves, maybe you send one person over to clear the Dragon by yourself. Like perhaps you just send Katsuri because he has lifesteal and doesn't take any damage from it. You'd want to be resetting that to try and get the Elder Dragon up, unless your goal is to fight at Baron, because you only want one objective available. And if that's the case, then Direwolves in a pretty good position. Because right now they're actually running it down the middle lane. Open inhib seems to be the goal in their sights.
Yeah, late recalls coming in from Order as well, so at least 2 members will be slow to this play, and it means that Direwolves, just really on a timing play, move towards mid lane, take away the inhibitor, which is great in this situation. Constant pressure in the mid lane as Order will attempt to push up into their jungle. But relatively easy to transition from mid lane to jungle. Just an inconvenience, though. Raze looking for the opportunity to find an ultimate.
And you can see so much more confidence comes back into the Order squad. The ability to step up, knowing they've got their item spikes. They are pretty well equipped to go. You've got your Void Stars, you've got your Spear of Shojuns. Direwolves once again onto the Baron. Spooks is in vision, and he doesn't know how much health it's on yet.
And they're asking for a fight on this one.
They
Toss
see
out
it.
the W. Dream keeping vision over the wall. Jake gets a knock up onto Corporal, down to 1k. Doesn't go for a flag drag, way too late here.
Oh.
Cataclysm's back over the wall. The alley-oop. The Swippy swap.
The smooth criminal.
Make his way out. Cool. Direwolves, though, do get the Baron. In order had to back away and just batten down the hatches.
Yeah, no steal this time, and that really is the concern that you would have if you were Order, is their only option felt like a steal. You know, the Baron was held at 2k for so long. Spooks was just biding his time, but Alistar, Corporal, found himself in a position where he needed to use the ultimate and then just needed the help from his team. So that was pretty much the moment they were like, hit it. Hit the Baron right now. Save Corporal. As Dragon, another avenue for a potential fight perhaps. Raze no ultimate though. Order. They are caught.
They are split as well. Jake does get his dash over to Tally, who hits the blast cone successfully this time. Katsuri getting tagged by the W and they will back away. Order just wanting to burn down that Dragon, but Direwolves got there first off of the reset. So now moving towards this bottom lane. Recalls were coming through, but now sticking around. Order maybe not really able to defend this outer turret or this inner turret that's outside of their base. Now looking towards their inhibitor line.
Yeah, I felt like Order were looking to go for the Ocean Dragon against the flow of the map right now. They didn't set up a whole host of vision in the process of doing that, however. So there's not a whole lot of control bot side jungle area near that blue buff. Direwolves pretty much absolute vision down there. There is a sneaky teleport flank in both the bottom lane as well as the jungle though. No teleports or Order just yet, as they are hunting
Tani gets the stun down onto this GA
Taking the
Irelia.
fight.
Nice knock up here from Spooks as well into the Cataclysm, but the Irelia is still up and still dealing damage. In comes Dream, just getting a Captain Rain, burns the GA. Tani backing away, smite down to him, but he's still good to go. Another knockup comes out, but then just burned down. 4 kills just like that over to the Direwolves, and they are looking for game 1 win.
In order to look for the engage, they don't have the damage to follow that up. They go for the rest of the kills. Maybe they get Swiffer, but they do get game 1.
Taking down the Nexus turret, moving on to the spawn pad as well. Swiffer just trying to delay the inevitable here, and Direwolves will take game 1 of this best of 5.
What an exciting game 1 to start off the OPL Gauntlet for Split 2 as well. The road to MEO, already you can tell is going to be an absolute slog. Dire will start off rough, or to start with the lead. But they bounce back and they give it back to their opponents. And, you know, for me, I have to look at it and say that the solo laners of Direwolves played an incredible game of League. But I think every individual member had their moments from them, really, to bounce back from the deficit that they had. You know, you have the big mechanical moments from Get Back, the teleports from Biopanther, Raze hitting that ultimate as well out of thin air. And note that during all of this time, while we spent all of this time talking about the solo laners, the junglers, there was a quietly achieving no death Xayah on the team as well that, you know, was just absolutely insane, putting in some big work in team fights. So that's one of those moments where I feel like everyone on Direwolves can take something good away from it, feel very confident for the rest of the series on their individual play.
Yeah, I even feel like, you know, Corporal definitely played his part in that one as well. And that was a game 1 win with running not even what I would see as main roster, right? Like, I definitely see Totoro as main roster. We've seen it for the last 3 weeks. Haven't even seen Corporal since midway through the split. Comes in, goes for game 1. And I felt like, I was actually going to bring up the point, like, I felt like it was too early at the time. But I was like, is this where bot lane gets blown open by Order because they sub in Corporal and it spreads from there? That's a game 1 win for Order. But the fact we're talking about momentum, like, that's a huge deal. You know, the fact that, like, you get game 1 with basically your sub support.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it and say that's a very big deal for Direwolves. I think Order are too much of a veteran team to really fall down in the first game and say that's their run over by any means.
Yeah.
And I do think that, like, when you look at how Order won the previous Gauntlet, it was through their bottom lane getting advantages and snowballing the rest of the map. And Order have proven they can still do that even in the early stages of this game.
But still, that is just game 1. We are going to take a short break before we get into the rest of the series.
Is a control mage. It's Corporal.
Teleport coming down into the bottom lane, flag drag.
They're on.
And the flash coming in from Biopanther for tons of damage onto the mid lane of Swift. He'll back away, Ignite ticking, good heal out from Dream. And with the Cataclysm, locks up 2. Flash into Vanguard's edge and Get Back. Gets the first, jumps the wall, has the Q combo. Blade Surge, double kill. Meanwhile, knock over the wall. Tally looking to get out of this fight. Wants to hit the blast cone, send everyone flying, but also dies. Over in time, mid lane.
There's a teleport coming in. It's Get Back flanking.
Just get the engage here, Corporal. Flag drag finds 2. And this is going to be a big flank in from the Nico ultimate. Lands onto 3. Get Back tries to get into that back line, but he is shut down by Tally. Spooks, meanwhile, is tanking on the front line, and he's actually making it out of here. Raze, he's low, but he's able to manage his health bar here. Looks at Jake, backs away. Dream in a 1 versus 2 shut down by Katsuri.
Oh my god,
Flash
he
coming
hits it.
through. Managed to thread the needle onto Dream, and Biopanther in with another great flank. Lands onto 2, and here comes Corporal and Get Back cleaning up this fight. And it's over. You can't even call it a fight. It's a massacre.
In both the bottom lane as well as the jungle, though. No teleports for Order just yet, as they are hunting.
Tani gets the stun down onto this GA
Taking the
Irelia.
fight.
Nice knock up here from Spooks as well into the Cataclysm, but the Irelia is still up and still dealing damage. In comes Dream, just getting a Captain Rain, burns the GA. Tani backing away, smite down to him, but he's still good to go. Another knockup comes out, but then just burned down. 4 kills just like that over to the Direwolves, and they are looking for game 1 win.
In order to look for the engage, they don't have the damage to follow that up. They go for the rest of the kills. Maybe they get Swiffer, but they do get game 1.
Taking down the Nexus turret, moving on to the spawn pad as well. Swiffer just trying to delay the inevitable here, and Direwolves will take game 1 of this best of 5.